Today, we're going to be talking about patch 1.04 for the console version of Rust. We're going to be talking about what this patch fixes, what it broke, and where we're going from here. But before we get into that, please hit the subscribe button. I put these Rust console videos out faster than D11 makes new bugs, and that is impressive. And now that all you fine folks have hit subscribe, let's get into the patch. So here's where we stand for patch 1.04. There are some additional fixes that were added, so I'm going to read through everything. So for crash fixes, plugging and unplugging the headset and microphone will no longer cause Xbox players to crash. Unfortunately, this isn't fully true. There's still some players that are crashing, but it's a lot less likely for them to crash, and it's not as consistent of a crash as it was before. So overall, it's an improvement, but it looks like this one is going to have to be tackled again. They fixed multiple UI crashes, fixed multiple crashes that happen when loading the game, and fixed a crash that could occur with a flamethrower. I haven't experienced any of these pre-patch 1.04, and I definitely haven't experienced any of them post, so overall, I can't really confirm or deny that it's happening. Bug fixes. They fixed the launch site window exploit, which means players are no longer able to run the launch site monument without a red keycard. This is probably one of the best fixes that they've got in this whole patch. They fixed a bug allowing players to build too close to the safe zone, and in the process of doing that, they gave a lot of players the middle finger because, like I was originally saying, I thought that this was going to be released on the wipe so the players couldn't build in the safe zone prior to a patch. The patch would come out, and then players would be stuck with the building that they couldn't use. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, so when this patch released, a bunch of players who built in the safe zone were basically just given the middle finger, and their bases are completely useless. How does it feel to be rated by D11? I bet you love that. Also, they fixed the profanity filter from being overly sensitive and blocking a player's reason for reporting another player. There's like 10 players in Nigeria who are very happy about that. They fixed the issue preventing players from planting pumpkins and corn in the planter, which is very important because that's what planters are supposed to be used for. They fixed that chairs cause some of the players to rubber band. That's good. They fixed a glitch causing players to go invisible when setting in chairs in the bandit camp. I don't know why this matters. If you're invisible in bandit camp, you can't really be exploiting that too much. And unfortunately, they still haven't fixed the actual invisible player glitch. What I've heard from Discord is that this glitch is a multitude of things, so they are slightly fixing it every time, but it's not something that they're going to be able to fix all at once. In addition to this, they also fixed the internet connection not detected. Please reconnect to a stable network and try again error message. Now they just kick you out of the game and say get better. And no, they don't. They fixed it completely. So now, quality of life and performance improvements. Players can now pick up the workbench when equipped with a hammer. This is a really good thing to see. Overall, 100% in favor of this. They increase planting distance between plants. What this means is it's going to basically make it easier for people to load into the game, and it's going to reduce lag, and it should improve performance for last-gen consoles. They disabled planting near monuments, which basically does the same thing. They reduced the number of seeds from pumpkins and corn, which again does the same thing. They fixed Xbox controllers not being reacquired after disconnecting. I haven't run into this issue, but seeing that the headset is still having some issues, I'd guess that there's probably going to be some Xbox controllers that still might have issues. I could be 100% wrong on this, though. This is just a guess. They fixed an issue that causes a player list to be invisible. Sleeping players will now be killed inside safe zones or directly outside of the compound. Again, giving the middle finger to players who didn't know there was an update coming, logged off at one of these two places, and now they're basically dead. It would have been nice to get some warning. The warning that they gave to everybody was basically a 1-hour notice to get in and get out, but a lot of people were probably sleeping when this notice was released, just like me, and what that means is if you did decide to sleep in a bandit camp or build too close to it or sleep in a compound, you're now dead. In addition to this, they fixed the Xbox percentages for achievements, and they updated the Xbox invite system to work properly. It's always great when an invite system actually works. For the graphics and UI, they fixed issues causing players to not see the player model once they open up the inventory. This means that you can now see your character in the inventory screen. It's not something that we needed, but it is a really nice feature to have because now a lot of you are going to find out that you're actually black. In addition to this, they updated icons for bandages, large medkit, and medical syringes. So the reason I think they did this is because it probably is going to look better, but this also might have helped with performance. My idea is that they're going to have to do a lot of updates to the models and textures to actually get the performance on Xbox One and PS4 that players desire. I'm hoping that this is the first step in a long line of updates that is going to do that for those of you still on those last-gen consoles. Now, we can't get done with this video without talking about one issue that has been introduced. Players are having trouble opening boxes boxes when they're on different levels and things like that. I haven't quite figured out exactly what this bug is, but there are some issues with opening up boxes and opening up storage in the game. So some of you are probably going to be logging in and finding that you can't access certain parts of your base or certain boxes in parts of your base. Hopefully this will be fixed quickly, because this is a pretty game-breaking glitch, considering that some of you probably have explosives and really good weapons in those boxes, which would really suck to have. Also, some people are complaining about crashing when crafting. I haven't seen this issue, so I'm hoping that this is something that's a one-off and maybe someone jumped the gun in reporting this. Overall, though, this was one of the better patches that D11 has released. We haven't seen too much go wrong yet, and hopefully on the release of this video, that's going to be true. One thing I've got to point out, though, is that this list of fixes and updates and everything like that feels a lot like when I was doing a high school book report and needed to hit 2 pages. You know, you're adding extra spaces in instead of commas, you're using and. Maybe you're using words that are like 10 letters bigger just because you need that extra space. If we look at the list of fixes that D11 gave us, there are some additions and some updates compared to what they were talking about before, but a lot of these are just based around planting and reducing number variables and things like that. These are fairly standard issues that you could fix in 30 minutes. I'm not seeing anything of real substance here, to be honest. The launch site window exploit, that's a pretty big one. Workbench is being picked up. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. A lot of these glitches probably are a lot more in-depth than we think, but when I see something like changing the amount of pumpkins you can plant, disabling planting near monuments, and a lot of that stuff, that is pretty standard and it shouldn't really be that hard to do. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. It's hard for me to know looking out from the outside what everything looks like, but it does feel a lot like they're just padding a book report to give us more than, well, actually happened. This patch did take over a month to produce, and a lot of companies in this time are actually putting out whole new maps and modes and everything like that, whereas D11 hasn't even managed to get different seeds on a bunch of different servers. They did announce that the skin shop, it looks like that's sort of around the corner right here. Like I said in my last video, it seems like 1.05 is going to be the skin is going to be the skin shop, and they also doubled down on when they're going to do the blueprint wipe. The next blueprint wipe is supposedly going to be coming out with the tech tree update. That has been confirmed by D11 on basically Discord and Twitter. I've dug through the things. It looks like that is a confirmed blueprint wipe, and there won't be anything before that. Overall, I think this is a fairly good update. I just would like to see them time it up with the wipe. It's gone off fairly without a hitch, so overall, I guess not props to D11, but no hate from me. So yeah, that's where we stand with patch 1.04, and now it's on to bigger and better things, which is hopefully going to be patch 1.05, and we're not going to go there. Until next time, peace.